Hi guys, this is Lily here at Aspiring NP. I wanted to talk today about something that I've seen a lot of people struggle with, new people that have joined recently to our Facebook group. um, and this has, research class, research papers, APA formatting, and all of that. So, in an effort to make your research paper process a smoother one, I just wanted to give you a couple tips of things that worked for me in the past. So, all right. So, really, a research paper, as you know, has a running head and a cover page. And my suggestion to you is to have a running head and a blank cover page. That is already formatted to APA as in your computer. That way, whenever you're starting a new research paper, you are just simply able to start from scratch and save it under a new document name, and that way you won't have to format the actual paper again. This will save you about 10 to 15 minutes at least, because I mean, just getting like all this stuff, all the information, and putting it in the middle and just building it up, it's gonna take a lot of time. All right, so I'm actually gonna make this available so you can download, which I have a few things that is missing, but you'll be ready by the time you watch this video. So this is what a sample APA format paper looks like. As you can see, I've made kind of a copy of it at the Google Docs page. But Purdue OWL is a really good writing lab, and you can reference that for your reference list and for in-text citations and all sorts of different articles and stuff you want to quote. So I pretty much made a blank paper of this right here, reflecting this, which is what you were looking at earlier. All right, my second tip today is to make better use of the CNAL database. The CNAL database, most of you know, is pretty much the database that we use as nurse practitioners and nurses to collect information and to gather resources such as articles, research articles, and such that you'll end up using as part of of your of your paper. So I had already researched a few things, but the point is that if let me go back to the result list. Whatever you end up researching, which here is the resource list, and you can advance search it. So let's say constipation, elderly, laxative, right? So perhaps you're not too sure what you're going to talk about, but you know the topic and you kind of know which group of people you want to talk about, and you just kind of want to find supporting arguments for your particular point of view. This is a great way to start, so you can actually look for things this way. All right, you can do either full text or you can request things through an interlibrary loan, which if you're still in school, this is something that your librarian can assist you with. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just gonna link full text. Okay, and just take this one as an example. So whenever you see a PDF full text, you can actually access the PDF file right away, and you can download it by hovering over and clicking right here on this little thing, which will download it to my downloads right here. And if I click on that, I already have it, which allows me to save it under a different name, ideally under the name of the author, so you have quick references. So whenever you're looking at a research paper, I really, in order to gather most of the information, whether this paper is gonna make a be of interest to me, I want to look at the keywords, and I want to look at the abstract, and I also, so the abstract keywords, I look at the conclusion, and I look at the introduction, and I look at the conclusion discussion over here, because this is where the results of that article will be discussed in the conclusions. So you look at the conclusion to see if this article will support or not what you're trying to find, or the point that you're trying to make. But let's say this article is working for you and you really want to add it to your reference list. So instead of having to go through all these things where you're writing down from scratch the name and pages and the volume and the year and the authors and all that, you can just click right here on this little paper that says Cite, and you can scroll down to APA, and you can copy. And I have already kind of worked it out here for some references, but we can do another one. And you can paste. And you'll see that it'll paste kind of funny, but we're not going to look at that right now. So we go back, and we go back to the result list. By the way, if you just go back, it's not going to take you to the result list. It's going to erase your results, most likely. So it's good to go back to the result list. All right, let's say you want to look at this article, and you find that it's something you want to use. So we're gonna download it. We're gonna cite it, and we're gonna do APA. Oh, did not mean to do that. Okay. All right. Go back to the result. Okay. Same thing goes for this one. You download it. You read it. First you should read it, read the abstract, read the conclusion, find out if this is something that will interest you, find out if there's anything that may support the point you're trying to make, and copy the APA. So here you'll find that really any citation format that exists is already done for you. So this is great because this will save you a ton of time. For those of you that didn't know that was there, I didn't know that was there until I think it was my first year. All right, so once you have this, you should organize it by by alphabetical order, indent it to the left. You should highlight it. You have to format it to Times New Roman, size 12. You have to take the highlight out, and you have to indent it to the right. The second line is indented to the right. So as you see here, see the second line is indented to the right. So we're gonna go back and do that, and you just click enter twice, go back up and tab, and again enter twice, back up and tab, and then you can just enter twice, back up and tab it. Okay, enter twice. Oh, enter actually. And same thing goes there. So there you go. You have your reference page already halfway through. All right. So let's say now you are using different quotes, or you are gathering your conclusion or your argument from the abstract and from the conclusion and from some parts of inside the really long articles. You instead of having to go back and forth, you could just copy paste right here. So let me see, if you want to reference something like in oh, that's the header. If you want to reference something in a paraphrase way, anything over three authors, you have to put an et al. So, but you would still, it's a lot easier to do this than to write it by hand. I believe that's how you do it. You can always come back and see it all. Yeah, that you dot is after. All right. So you can just say according to chronic constipation, often treated osmolytic laxatives. I don't know, I just made that up, but you get the drift. The point is that it's really going to help you. So I think it's psychological more than anything, because when you're looking at a blank page, for instance, let's just open a new document so you know what I'm talking about. So you're opening a new document and you're staring at a blank page, and this is so discouraging, so discouraging. But instead, even you, even though you don't feel like you got most of the things together, it is way easier to already start with something that is halfway there. All you have to do is put the name of your research paper, your name, your university name. I think it's only missing the numbers, the page numbers, so on and so forth, and have the reference list already done. In my experience, and I have proofread a lot for my family, and the reference list is definitely something that takes the longest time, one of the longest times to make sure that it's up to par. So if you already have your reference list all done for you, really you just have to utilize the information and word it in a way that you can put it in an in-text citation. So I just wanted to show you that easy way to do a sample research paper. Of course, all research papers, vary in sizes and in styles, but you can utilize these two tips, and it'll make your life lots better. All right, thanks so much, and have a nice rest of your night.